Welcome back. I'm Mike with the Hunt Fish Shoot channel, and today I want to discuss what you have to take in consideration when you have to choose a sidearm when you're going out into bear country, whether that be for hunting, backpacking, fishing, or hiking in a place where you have a dangerous predatory animal and you're going to go in their backyard and spend a little bit of time in the woods. There's a lot of stuff to consider, but when we're talking about those types of predatory animals, you have, let's say, mountain lions, which obviously are a little bit more of a sneaky type creature. You have wolves, which hunt in packs generally. You have coyotes, you have black bears, but most importantly, what we're really going to talk about today is the grizzly bear, or brown bear, as it's called in some parts of the country. It's a bone-crushing animal coming in at close to 1,200 pounds fully grown. What's important to realize is that with a grizzly bear, they lack the fear that some of those other predatory animals have. With a grizzly bear, they are quite literally the largest predatory animal in North America. They are flat out massive. Having seen them in person in the wild, they are truly breathtaking for how much power and how big they truly are. They have the ability to break over trees close to 8 inches in diameter. They mark their territory, and they truly can take up an area. I've hunted in places like Alaska, Idaho, Montana, Colorado, to name a few, and those areas generally have predatory animals. Every single one of those times, I've carried items to help defend myself against a possible attack. Today, I want to talk about those things that you can do to try and defend yourself from those possible attacks. But before we get into a lethal option, I want to talk about something that's not talked about a lot, and that is bear spray. Granted, somebody who likes the lethal option of something like a handgun, especially something in 10mm, like a Springfield Ronin, the bear spray gives you the ability to deter something without having to use lethal force. With all of these options, not a single one of them is a finite answer to your problem. They could all be bad. But with bear spray, there's some things to take into consideration with these. You will undoubtedly, if you use this, get it on yourself if you shoot it, or you deploy it per se. What I mean by that is, coming from a law enforcement background, I have actually been pepper sprayed myself. I've deployed pepper spray in the field, and I've been around folks that have used pepper spray. Every single one of those incidents, I felt the effects of pepper spray. It can be debilitating if you don't know what to expect. The average citizen has no idea what pepper spray actually feels like. To name some things, generally you're going to get a mucus buildup, snot, nostrils, all that type of stuff. Your eyes are going to burn. It burns your skin when it gets on there, like a really, really bad sunburn to the touch. And it can, like I said, it can really be debilitating. However, if you know what to do with it and you know where to aim it and actually shoot it at a bear, you can actually help yourself to avoid a little bit of contamination. At 25 to 35 feet, bear spray is effective. It's been proven to be effective. Again, I stress this again, it is not finite. There's no guarantee it's going to work. There really isn't, that's why we'll talk about you need to have both ultimately. When you spray this, do not spray it into the wind. If you spray this into the wind, one can assume it's going to come back and get all over you also. You may actually deter the bear, but that you're also going to have to worry about trying to get the mace, OC spray, or this bear spray off of you. And with that being said, in decontamination of bear spray, or really any type of mace in general, you use soap in your eyes to clean this out. Okay, I know that we've all gotten soap in our eyes in the shower, or on our hands, whatever it might be. You're going to do that on purpose to clean this out of your eyes, and it's going to feel better. So that I hope that gives you just a little bit of semblance on how to understand how miserable this can be. I don't want this to deter you. I just want you to understand that it's very effective, yet you will contaminate yourself using it. With bear spray, most of them have let's say a life to them. So you're talking about one blast you're going to get out of here likely. This one here is 4 seconds out of this can. There's a safety that gets deactivated. So what I want to do here is, we have a good wind today, so it's a perfect, let's say, conditions for us. The wind's blowing away from me. It's at my back to try it out or do a test fire per se, but we're going to actually empty this can so that you can all see what truly comes out of a whole can of bear spray. Not a whole lot to it. That's about it. 4 seconds. We're talking, it went a good total about 25 feet. That's with wind blowing it out. You can see how close it truly is. It's not very far, and this can is fully expended. What that brings me into is that with this can fully expended, you then need another option into your sidearm if you have to use it. This one being a 10mm. We actually have two 10mm here today. This is the XDM Elite chambered in 10mm. So we have a Ronin in 10, XDM Elite in 10mm. The 10mm, we don't need to discuss its effectiveness on a bear. It's been proven statistically, campfire stories or whatever it might be, it does work, okay? Yeah, there's more powerful calibers, yet the ability to shoot a 10mm is a lot easier than nearly everything else that you could use with that level of effectiveness. When you do it and you're going to shoot a bear, it's extremely important that your shots connect with the head on the bear, okay? The reason for that being is because it's the quickest way to possibly stop an attack or even thwart it. There's no guarantees you're gonna kill that bear, okay? You're trying to stop the attack, okay? And a similar type way I could tell you is like in a self-defense situation, you're trying to stop the threat. Whatever you have to do to stop that threat is what you wanna do. So hitting them in the head is extremely important. Their skull cavity, on a brown bear in particular, a grizzly bear, is extremely thick. It's likely going to take you more than one good hit on the skull cavity to be effective. So it's very important that you use specially formulated rounds like bear loads, like these here from HSM. They're made to penetrate through thick skulls and bone matter. Outside of that, getting effective hits on your target is extremely important as well. If you take 6 shots out of something like a 44 Magnum revolver and you don't hit a single round, a 44 Magnum's not going to be better than a 10 mil. But if you take a 10mm chambered handgun, you fire, let's say, 8 rounds out of something like a 1911, or you fire 15 rounds out of something like this XDM Elite with an extended magazine, you're going to get a lot more firepower, essentially, downrange, and likely you're going to be more accurate with it. If you're going to carry a sidearm for bear defense in conjunction with bear spray, which I think is probably the best way to go, you definitely have to practice with it. One of the best ways I think you could truly practice with your sidearm is by running a bill drill. A bill drill, if you don't know, is generally from 21 feet, 7 yards. It's 6 rounds on paper at the sound of a beep or a buzzer. So we do have a shot timer today. As you can see, I'm wearing a backpack. This is the exact backpack I would wear in the backcountry, so it helps you to realize what it might feel like. The gun's already good for this drill though. When I do it, I'm gonna actually shoot the pistol from the low ready, because when I talked about situational awareness, you should have a general idea if an animal is in your proximity. It shouldn't really surprise you. You should be paying attention to your surroundings and knowing what's going on, so you could already have your gun out and at the ready if you had to. So again, like I said, we're gonna use a shot timer today. We're gonna shoot a bill drill for you. Drill's done now there. Again, that's quick rounds. So you shot the drill in 199. We have 1, 2, 3. I actually shot 7 times in 6 seconds. Generally, a bill drill is gonna be 6 rounds, but 7's fine. I did it in under 2 seconds total, which is a very good standard for the bill drill itself. We have all good hits on a bullseye target here, and that's a wonderful way that you could truly train to do it. Let's run through that one more time. So really all good hits again. The bullseye target is wonderful if you use it for bear in particular, because a brown bear itself, grizzly bear, has a very large head. You're gonna have to think you need to get the majority of them or all of your rounds nearly on that bullseye size target. This one being a 12-inch bullseye here. The Ronin is a very, very easy pistol to control. When you're coming up, it absorbs a very hot load like 10mm really easily. So in conjunction, okay, with your handgun and your bear spray, you have the ability to thwart off an attack from a grizzly bear. What we need to know with a grizzly bear in general is that a male grizzly bear is generally a little bit smaller than a female. What's important to know about that is that female grizzly bears with their cubs, so a sow with cubs, is extremely dangerous. The reason for that being is the danger comes from the fact that that mother has the instinct to protect its cubs. So if you get close to it or you startle it, it's going to attack you. It's going to charge you, and it's going to happen. It's been proven, again, statistically and through a number of stories throughout the country. Grizzly bear attacks happen on a somewhat regular basis in those northwestern states where the grizzly bear populate. So you got to have your wits about you. You have to have good situational awareness. You got to keep your eyes up as you're walking through areas like that and pay attention to the signs around you. Listen to the woods as you walk through them. If you're hunting, keep in mind that if you have a kill down, there's a high probability that a predatory animal is going to come into your kill. I've seen it happen. I've been in areas where it happens. I've seen carcasses from, let's say, elk that you go back the next day and it's gone because an animal came in there and took it. So you have to take all that stuff into consideration. The most important part that I can't stress enough is that when going into the backcountry, be smart, be cautious, and most importantly, be courteous to the dangerous predators that are in the backcountry, because you're in their home, not yours.